and welcome to Dungeoneered, a podcast dedicated to discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
Let's do this. Josh, another flawless intro, and I just ruined it.
You had a long pause there. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I was texting, so I can't text and talk at the same time, you know? It's difficult. You have that problem?
No. I'm really good at being able to look away from something. Like a keyboard or my phone and just be able to finish the text as I'm like, no, I don't have to look at the screen and I can just type in the words.
If I'm texting or talking, I can't talk at the same time. Well, I mean, I can, I guess. That's a lie. It's just I chose not to.
Well, this is
talking,
the most interesting intro we've ever done. Super interesting and just great. But
well, I was gonna say for the Lukewarm Open, I don't have a segue for this week's Lukewarm Open, so here we are. But now,
so what is the Lukewarm Open?
Well, okay, this week I decided to go with something different again, not social media, or anything like that. But I wanted to do something a little bit
good,
unique. Good. Yeah,
just a little bit good. Just a little.
Yeah.
I don't want to change.
I mean, this one's probably not going to be good either. You know how I came up with this one?
No.
In the shower. That's how good it is.
Oh wow, it's a shower thought. We're having a shower thought.
Yeah, you know shower thoughts that you just have.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this would be really dumb for a Lukewarm Open, so let's do that.
So I have to. It's going to be super dumb, so I have to do it.
Yep. So I was thinking, we've been, throughout our history of Dungeoneered, been talking a lot about cults and crazy, bad, terrible things and destruction and doom and chaos and more doom.
Let chaos reign, my friend.
Yeah, true. You're right. Chaos Twins. Do you know the Chaos Twins? You're not very high along in high rollers, I see.
Oh, it's high rollers? Then no, I definitely don't know what the Chaos Twins are. Well, I know what the Chaos Emeralds are.
Chaos Twins. You know what?
What the Chaos Emeralds are?
Chaos Emeralds? What's a Chaos Emerald? That sounds like something you could put in D&D.
No, that's Sonic the Hedgehog, my friend.
Is it? I've never even done anything with those games before.
Oh, man. Or the TV series? Oh, man. I used to watch those a lot as a kid.
There's a TV series?
There's a million. There's like 6 or 7 Sonic the Hedgehog TV series.
You're too slow.
They're so good. Dude, the newest one called Sonic Boom is actually like hilarious. And it's really well written.
Sonic Boom?
Yeah, it's not like it's weird in the Sonic canon.
You're telling me it's called Sonic Boom?
It is. So there's like Sonic X, Sonic Boom. I don't remember what else. I mean, a lot of them are just called Sonic. Man, there's some weird ones out there.
Like not Sonic Too Fast, Too Furious?
No, not Sonic Tokyo Drift or anything like that. No.
Yes, Sonic Tokyo Drift.
I really want Sonic Tokyo Drift now. I need that movie.
Well, now we need to. Okay, Josh. Next thing a Dungeoneered podcast is going to do, we're going to make movies, and they're going to be Sonic movies, but instead of like Fast and Furious, it's going to be Fast and Furious and Sonic mixed.
Yes.
Replace the cars with Sonic the Hedgehog
and it's all going to be in a D&D setting because we just want to add D&D to it. How do you put Sonic in a D&D world?
We are off in no man's land.
Yeah, we are.
So, I was talking about Doom and bad stuff that we always talk about. So I was thinking, why don't we mix bad of a cult and we mix good of comedy and funny, and we go, how would you run a comedy cult in D&D?
I would make them inept. I would make it like a Team Rocket situation where it's like they're here to stop you at a bunch of different situations. It is. It's great. It's amazing. I mean, that's why Team Rocket was so great for Pokemon. Is it's these people and they clearly have like evil, horrible intentions, but they're also just so inept that you're like, are they criminals? Like I don't even know. They're just so inept. You're like, but yeah. And then just like,
yeah, everything they do
every
is
time
a
they come
failure.
yeah, every time they come against the party, they always fail, but they just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, coming against the party and being like, and they have to have some sort of like silly intro like Team Rocket does. Like, to protect the world from devastation, to unite all people within our nation.
Villain monologue, but it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be so good. For some reason, when I was in the shower, and this is probably shower thoughts, when I was in the shower, I was thinking of like an evil, horrible cult, like dressed in like kabuki masks, you know, like, or like porcelain doll masks, something along those lines. And they try to do like a terrible, horrible ritual, and then like instead of summoning like a terrible god, like literally it like Jack in the Box just pops out like dun 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 dun. This is so stupid. That's what I thought of for some reason.
Interesting. If I wanted to go that route, I would have them.
If you did music in your what?
Okay, if I was gonna go that route, I would have the cult be followers of like a some sort of chaotic demon of some sort. So his whole thing is chaos, and so he'll just like they do this incredible ritual that caused them to have to sacrifice this many amount of people or whatnot. And like you said, they get like a Jack of the Box, or they get like just some random bit of chaos that this dude's like, yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna throw that at them. Let's see what they do with that.
You could you could pull like a Griffin McElroy, right? He's the one who does the music for them.
Yeah.
And you could like do your own thing where you take like the Jack in the Box music, but you like bring it down several octaves and slow it down so it's like sounds like distorted and weird. So like your party like doesn't quite know what it is, but then as it speeds up, Jack in the Box pops out. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so dumb. What the heck? I don't know I don't even know why I thought of that. Why I even was like a horrible ritual. And all
that was a weird one. But I guess I'll just jump into my topic now. So.
What? No.
What? What do you mean no?
No, you can't. Wait, it's only 7 minutes in.
I think we.
You have a long topic this week?
This topic has run it. No, I think your topic has run its course, though.
Okay. I understand. You can
We're
go.
trying to be mean to you. I just thought it was done. We had our laugh, and we're moving on.
For it. What's your topic this week?
So this week, I'm going to talk about the Cardassians. No, Aaron. Not
yes,
the Kardashians.
I remember these guys.
Not the Kardashians. The Cardassians. They're a race from Star Trek,
yes.
Most notably from Deep Space Nine. In Deep Space Nine, we follow a space station, as I said in a recent episode, stationed near a phenomenon to research it. The station they were on was constructed by Bajoran slaves, another race that we will talk about here. The slaves were slaves to the Cardassians, and they built this station for them. But the show takes place in with a different kind of view than other Star Trek series up to that point. With Next Generation and the original series all trying to like really portraying this very specific view of the world and really focusing on exploration and all these things. And so what they wanted to do with Deep Space Nine was they wanted to look at like intergalactic struggles and things that go on within the Alliance and the Federation and all the like the things that they've brought up in the other series. So to start all of this off, the show literally starts after Bajoran freedom fighters have finally won independence from the Cardassians. And they have requested that the Federation of Planets protect them to ensure that the Cardassians do not take them over again. So the show starts where the Starfleet is setting up a command in this space station that is Bajoran that was just taken over from the Cardassians. So, the Cardassians are a species from the planet Cardassia Prime. The Cardassians are known for being extremely ruthless. For a while, they were actually the greatest
Is this
enemies.
another like warring death race?
Sort of. The Cardassians were highly xenophobic.
Sci-fi likes warring death races so much. It's like my favorite thing.
Well, the people I've talked about from Star Trek are villains. They're
Yeah.
I've talked about the villains mostly. So there are like great races and whatnot, but I'm just talking about the villains.
I guess if you think about it though, like what other kind of villain can you run besides like a warring death race or cult or group that wants to kill and destroy everything, you know?
Yeah, they gotta be people that are stupid enough, quotation marks, to go up against this huge, like, combination of different, like, these huge planets that are all working together. Like, you have to have somebody that is so, like, war,
Zealous.
or zealous, or they have to have some reason to go up against this giant power. So you have to create somebody that would. But yeah. But these guys aren't like antagonistic to the Federation. They're more slightly expansionistic, and just wanted to be like, leave us alone. We'll rule, and we're good. We have a way that we like our society to run, and we'll run it that way. Don't mess with us. They're highly xenophobic, and this was very evident through their actions during the Cardassian border wars, as well as their atrocities during their occupation of Bajor. Cardassians are described in the wiki as light gray-skinned humanoids with two thick vertical neck ridges that recede back to the crown of their head and an inverted tear-shaped ridge in the center of their forehead. The Cardassian society is hierarchical, with the state at the very top. Cardassians valued older members as a sign of strength, wisdom, and resilience. Their hierarchical society seemed to almost create a rivalry within it between individuals and families. This caused a general suspicious nature to Cardassians, and they actually viewed anybody without sort of like that aren't very suspicious of everyone around them as fools. This is shown in the show many times by my favorite character in most of fiction, called Elam Garrick.
I don't know much about Star Trek in any way, shape, or form, but are like all the races like hyper exaggerated, like even the good ones?
What do you mean? Like, not
like
totally. Okay, so
qualities like
I would say at the beginning. I would say at the beginning it was that way. I think as the show kind of developed and moved along, and we kind of got to more of like what we think of as modern Hollywood and society and whatnot. It's kind of so they all had this base of super exaggerated, and then it kind of feels like they kind of soften them and add to their cultures as time went on to make them more like feel like a real culture and not just feel like, as you said, this kind of
we hate everything.
Yeah.
Die.
But there is a belief in acting in Hollywood and whatnot. It's called German Expressionism, and it is a type of filmmaking and acting and whatnot that specifically believes, like, the purpose of the art form of filmmaking and acting and all that is to really like be able to dive deep into like these psychological struggles or these kind of these moments in these people's lives. Is this whatever the story about of the movie, they feel like the whole point of it is to dive into the emotionalness of it. And they believe that you can't do that accurately. Like you can't dive in like to on a deeper level unless things are exaggerated. Because otherwise, if you play a naturalist performance where it's made to feel just like somebody you would meet in real life would act, they feel like you're not going to learn any more than you would from just seeing someone go through that. And so they believe you have to exaggerate traits and be overly like show your emotions on your sleeve, like overly emotional, overly do all these things to kind of allow the story of the show or whatever to kind of be understood. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with it a little bit in some sense.
But so like, modern society, I think it's really
important to highlight and exaggerate certain qualities.
Yeah,
that are to like because if you in real life, the line is a lot less clear in a lot of senses in a lot of ways. And if you like see somebody who's just normal, sometimes it can be like, I don't know, like I don't want to say you can't relate, but you just it doesn't feel as capturing, I guess. And so when you exaggerate flaws and or like positive traits that like makes people grasp onto things easier.
Do you want to know who a famous German expressionism actor is?
Who?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's why in a lot of his movies, like people are always like, "Oh, he's so bad at acting." Like, no, he has a specific way that he believes in these 3 types of acting that he puts into his performances, and so it is German expression. It's overacting. It's all these things that you can really dive into the turmoil of the character or whatever is going on, and so that's just kind of how he does his.
He's not my favorite
craft.
actor, but you know.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thing.
I don't follow too much about actors and stuff, but he's not my favorite. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
what about like somebody like Heath Ledger? What was Heath Ledger?
Well, I mean, he was a method actor. I know that, but I don't know much else.
Yeah.
Method means you get into the character. You do what you can in your normal life to kind of be as close to that character as possible, and that's part of why he had such a hard time with Joker, is that he tried to embrace that character as much as possible.
Yep. No, yeah.
And that's not always a safe thing to do, is in embracing insanity and trying to like he would,
no, absolutely,
like not sleeping and there's just a lot of issues with jumping into that mindset. But it's
totally.
It's really sad that we lost Heath.
For sure.
Heath was an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But so back, we got way off on a tangent there.
Oh yeah, totally.
So the kind of suspicious nature of the Cardassians is shown in the show Deep Space Nine by my favorite character, Elim Garak. And he would have these awesome meals with one of the Starfleet members. It was actually the doctor on the show, Bashir. And they would learn more about each other and each other's culture. And he would often misunderstand or take a completely different lesson from classic human culture or tales. Like, at one point, Bashir told him the story of the boy who cried wolf. And I mean, we've all heard, I assume most of us have heard The Boy Who Cried Wolf. He kept saying, "Hey, there's a wolf," and people would come, and then he'd be like, "Ha, ha, ha, I fooled you," until the time that a wolf actually came, and he couldn't get anybody to come help him because he'd already burned those bridges, and they thought he was lying again.
Yep. Oh, he's lying.
And so Bashir's like, "Oh, like that's why lying's dangerous." Like, and Garak responds, "Are you sure that's the point, Doctor?" And Bashir's like, "Of course. What else could it be?" To which Garak replies, "That you should never tell the same lie twice." So that was his takeaway from it.
Now, on this subject, this is going to be a random tangent again, but on this subject, school fire drills, okay? When I was little, I was always like, oh, it's just another school fire drill. Wow,
this feels like a weird tangent. Okay, go for it.
Who really cares? It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, you know? Because they always like do those school fire drills, and then like they just get you like, you're supposed to be prepared and ready, but to me, it just made me accustomed to like, oh, we're having a fire drill.
But so that might not be a bad thing, though, Aaron.
No, it's true.
Because part of the problem is people get too afraid when there is stuff like that. And so people have died just from trying to escape those things. So if you make them think it is a fire drill.
Of it about the person who cried fire in a movie theater or something?
Well, hold on. So if you make them accustomed to fire drills, then when there's an actual fire, they're going to leave in an orderly fashion and not trample each other.
Or they're going to be like, there's no fire. Let's go really slow.
Or that too, yeah. But yeah.
But no, I mean, I think with the example of fire drills, like obviously I think that's a pretty important thing to do because it gets people, like you said, leave orderly and not, freak out and have a horrible disaster on your hands. But
yeah.
But it's just interesting because I think there is a version of it where there's a person who cries fire in a movie theater. I think there's another one like that.
I don't know that one.
Same concept.
But Cardassian society did value family and sticking by your kin. And Cardassians did not see a need for a patriarchy or a matriarchy. Within families, the parents ruled as equals, and within society, jobs were open to both. But it did seem to have a skew, but not by societal norms, but more by where people found themselves most suited. Cardassians see conversation and arguments just as important as meals. It is actually an important point of courtship to them. The skill and ability to manipulate others into telling more than they had planned or winning an argument with them is seen as great. Also, Cardassians treat their prisoners with little tolerance or sympathy. Some even find great enjoyment in torturing their prisoners, some even doing it whether there was information in it or not. One of the most interesting things I discovered in my research was that the way that their trials work. In Cardassian society, it is completely different than how humans do trials. It's not like humans where they try to find justice or the truth. All the outcome is 100% decided beforehand. The whole point of the trials in Cardassia are for show, and to get the offender to recognize the power and benevolence of the state. And the results of these trials were nearly all either death or imprisonment in harsh labor camps.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Kind of hardcore.
Now, there are a lot of memorable Cardassians throughout the shows, and they're very interesting. But before we go into this episode further, I'm going to talk about my favorite, as I said previously, Elim Garak. So you can kind of see how a Cardassian lives. So Elim Garak was a Cardassian tailor and shopkeeper on the station of Deep Space Nine. But he was not on the station because he wanted to be there. He was there because he was exiled. Elim Garak was not just a tailor, though. Previously, he was a member of the Cardassian Intelligence Agency, which his father ran for many years while he served. He is skilled at espionage in all of its forms. Garak had a hard life, as his father treated him terribly, even saying to him on many occasions, "I should have killed your mother before you were born. You have always been a weakness I can't afford."
Wow, that is rough. Holy
yeah, it's
cow.
real rough. Despite this, Garak as a child wanted his father's approval, even if he hurt himself to get it. Garak, like other high-level operatives of the Cardassian Intelligence Agency, actually have an implant that would release endorphins when they experience pain. When Garak was exiled, he was incredibly sad and actually hacked the device to constantly release endorphins to make his exile tolerable, for he loved Cardassia. During the show, this implant actually fails, and he has to learn to live without it. And it's actually really interesting and a great storyline to follow. Garak is very deceptive, and he constantly hides his intentions for everything. If he was helping Starfleet or keeping something from them, he kind of kept his position on the matter or why he did it secret. He has many quotes from the show displaying this. He said once that truth is the lines between the lies, and that everything he says is true, especially the lies. Now, as I'm ending here, I'm gonna just say a few quotes from Elim Garak to kind of fully show you who he is. So, one of his quotes is, "Truth is in the eye of the beholder, Doctor. I never tell the truth because I don't believe there is such a thing. That is why I prefer the straight line simplicity of cutting cloth." Next is treason, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. And
treason, like beauty?
Yeah. Treason is 100%.
Interesting.
No, I mean, that makes sense. 100%, because from the people who are committing treason, they're like, no, this is a revolution or this is whatever else. But to the other side, it's 100% treason.
No, I mean, totally.
That's why it's in the eye of the beholder. Now, this last one has some spoilers.
There's no good people in war, or enemies in war.
Yeah. Now, this last one has some spoilers, but is very telling of who Garak is. He says, "Lying is a skill like any other, and if you want to maintain a level of excellence, you have to practice constantly. That's why you came to me, isn't it, Captain? Because you knew I could do these things that you weren't capable of doing. Well, it worked, and you'll get what you wanted, a war between the Romulans and the Dominion. And if your conscience is bothering you, You should soothe it with the knowledge that you may have just saved the entire Alpha Quadrant, and all of its cost was the life of one Romulan senator, one criminal, and the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. I don't know about you, but I'd call that a bargain.
And you lied, so.
But so like that last part is really interesting. And so he has no qualms about doing this, the things that he had to do. The captain is distraught and hurt over this. His self-respect is gone. That's what he meant when he said, and the self-respect of one Starfleet officer. So
No,
because
totally.
yeah, and so he's like, hey,
he's an excellent liar.
if you look at
lied.
if you look at it overall, like over the whole thing, there are like bad stuff happened, but he is so middle, like he is so neutral that he's like just looking at it with cold logic, less people are hurt by this action, and so he is 100% okay with it, has no moral quandary, and he's just such an interesting character. And, like, just the way that he's portrayed in the show is so good.
Does he represent his race well? Like, does he represent, like, is he different than his race?
Sorta. He's
Like the stereotypes
close.
of his race?
He's close. He definitely hates part of his race because, like, one of the main villains in Deep Space Nine is called Gul Dukat. And he is a Cardassian that now there is this kind of quotation marks peace between the Cardassians and the Bajorans because they're like, the Bajorans now have the Federation on their side, so they're not going to... The Cardassians are not going to attack them. But there is kind of this constant hatred. And so Gul Dukat is like this... He's constantly trying to stir up trouble throughout the show. And Garrick actually hates him.
Man, the only thing of Star Trek that I've ever seen, I just thought it was like a big joke and not like, somewhat in-depth.
Yeah. It's really good, dude.
I always thought
and
the old ones were just like a big joke, but maybe I'm wrong.
Even the original series was really good at that as well. Like, yeah, it was silly at times, and there was there's definitely a lot of like silliness, but there was also like really interesting moral quandaries being talked about and being dealt with.
Now it's interesting how much it's changed and like evolved.
But also like in the first one, like because of like the time that it came out, it was incredible for having like an African American woman as like a lead character. And Uhura was amazing, and she actually at part of the way through was like, I don't want to do this show anymore. Like she just didn't feel like she wanted to keep doing it, and literally Martin Luther King met her and was like, you have to do this. Seeing an African American woman on the TV for like young African Americans was like it was such a big thing at the time that it was like you are so inspirational. You don't know how much like you being on the show it means to everyone. And like it was everyone in the show seems like it tries to push the boundaries of society to a more inclusive way than it used to.
Yeah. I mean, I like I'm a big fan of like a universe with like tons of different crazy, weird, bizarre races and things like that. And I guess Star Trek and Star Wars fills those niches pretty well. But I've never really watched Star Trek. I should though.
Well. So
anyways,
my idea,
what did we want to?
My idea was creating a society with a negative context. So it doesn't actually have to be a negative society. Yeah. So like just think about like the lore that is in D&D. Orcs have it bad. We all know this. Most people who know D&D have heard of the problem with orcs having a evil alignment, and you're like, why is this whole sentient race evil? Like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like they're sentient. They can make their own choices, and a lot of times these things are like it's based on a culture or society that kind of put certain things ahead of certain other things that we would think of as good. And so I think creating a society that has this kind of negative context, but it's not actually, the people of it are not negative. It's just like, for some reason, the culture believes like they're barbarians or they're whatever it is. And so like, I always like having something like that where like there's this kind of just cultural belief of like, oh, these people are this way. And then having the party actually meet people of that group and being like, they're nothing like that. What are you talking about?
So like creating a society that has like a societal standard, but the societal standard is more of like a stereotype that's wrong.
Yeah, something with a well, it doesn't even have to be wrong. It could just be like it was true, but it's not true anymore. Like they used to do this thing, and maybe it wasn't even all of them. It was just like a small group, but like they were the most outspoken, and so the world started to develop these ideas about this is who this group is, when it was like a small splinter group off of them that actually did that or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the one that comes to my mind immediately, besides orcs, obviously, is tieflings in D&D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Tieflings are demon spawn and devil spawn. You know, they're evil and terrible. I know that's a pretty common one in D&D.
Yeah, it is.
It's a super, super common trope. But, I mean, I guess that's also not really a societal, societal, cultural thing. That's more of like where your race originated from. But it often like gets thrown in where it's like your race originated from being, like being born of devils, and now you guys are also devils. So I know that we could do something like that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like maybe a group's birth, like you could do like, well, I mean, I guess if I were to go into my world and do beast folk, which are like people who are like humanoid animals essentially. So there's like like lion folk and stuff that are in D&D and all that jazz. They can be treated bad by normal human society because they think they're like barbaric and they're animals. Yeah. But in reality, they have like an actual civilization. I think that's a really good idea too, actually.
Yeah, that is a good one.
So what do you want to do? What do we want to?
I think it's up to you. Which one? I think they're all good ideas. What you threw out. Which one do you want to do?
I don't know. I think it might be fun.
I like tieflings because it's purely a visual thing. It's purely hey, we have this idea of what a demon is. These people look an awful lot like that. There's this kind of cultural idea of we don't like that, which makes sense. And I'm currently thinking of like the Draenei from World of Warcraft. Which they have horns, they have a tail, they have these weird tentacles coming off them. And they could also be thought of in that way where it's like, yeah, technically they technically look demon-esque, I guess. And so people could just have this negative connotation of them because of their slightly demonic looking appearance.
Yeah, okay. I think it might be fun if we did tieflings and tell me if you think this is cool or not. But I think it might be fun to do like demons in D&D aren't bad, and I want them to be bad. But I think it might be fun to have like tiefling culture is almost like drow culture, or not drow, dwarven culture to like the normal D&D world, where dwarven culture defends from the horrible things of the Underdark. But instead tieflings defend from the devils like invading and destroying the material plane. But society thinks and believes that they are devils and demons themselves, but they're actually,
so they're kind of like witchers in that way, or witchers would be the best way.
They're essentially like the ones who are fighting back the devils and demons from taking over the material plane, but society thinks that they are, because of what they look like, they are barbaric devils essentially.
Yeah, that works. I like that. I like that. I like the
fun thing to play.
Defenders of the realm from like some sort of like demon gate or something, and just exposure to said demon gate or whatever is what gave them their appearance. And so actually, by being
what would
these
be their history
defenders,
then? I do like that idea. Like maybe there's some sort of, or, and I'm assuming we're doing this in our world that we're going right now, right?
oh, 100%, yes. And so maybe it is. Maybe we just maybe we just don't have an Underdark currently, and we just have underground is these demon gates, and so the culture that lives underground is these tieflings, as they have defended off
What if
these
we did
gates.
like I like the Underdark so much in D&D, so I have a problem with getting rid of an Underdark because it's like my favorite.
Well, I was just saying like moving it is more what I was looking at, not just saying get rid of it.
Well, there's a part of me that thinks, why would, I mean, there's so much that we might have to create here, and I don't know if we want to create this much, but I was thinking, why are demons even like invading the world? Where do demons and devils come from? What's the story behind that? Are they just fallen gods of the pantheon that fell during the like the God War and stuff? Like, is that kind of what we're going with? Like, were they just part of the pantheon, and then, or did some of the gods get corrupted and became demons and devils?
That is a lot and hard to create quickly.
Yeah, do we even care? Do we want to like?
I say let's leave who demons and devils are in our world for a later session, a later episode. Let's just say
so
they're coming in
demons,
through some sort of portal.
So, yes, okay. So, why are tieflings defending from the devils, and how did the devils start invading, and why did they start invading?
Well, so I think
they
it was
want to conquer and kill and destroy. Okay. Oh, I have an idea.
Well, so my simple idea was simply that I don't know how the portal happened, but the portal happened somehow, and to defend against it, people rose up to do that. And so, of the people that rose up to do this, eventually a society, like a small town, formed outside of the gate to kind of be these defenders, and slowly, just more generations that lived there. Eventually, they kind of began to take on this more demonic form as they grew horns and all these things, because constant exposure to the gate would do that.
Okay, yeah, no, I have a little bit of an idea, though.
Okay.
For a little bit of history, just a quick one.
Go for it.
What if one of the gods, when they died during when King Arthur did the God War, what if one of those gods became a devil and one of them became a demon, and they wanted revenge on humanity for betraying them and fighting them, even though, and they don't like...
Yeah, they blame humanity, even though
they don't
really
care that it was like a scheme by the ancient god, but they see that humanity betrayed them and attacked them and killed them also.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Revenge on humans.
And maybe based on like what their domain was.
Yeah.
One became
absolutely. Yeah.
lawful and the other one became chaotic.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's a really good, just simple, quick, like...
Yeah.
These guys were gods who are angry that humanity essentially attacked them as well, and now they're trying to destroy, enslave, and kill humanity.
Yeah.
So then we have these portals that formed. So do we want to do portals? Do we want to do something different? What do we want to do?
Oh, I definitely think it's portals. I think it's like giant doors. So I am 100% imagining the WoW. I never played these expansions, but I believe it was called like the Burning Legion. And there's this giant, like, green portal with these, like, thick stone slabs.
It reminds me of the Oblivion Gates in Oblivion.
Yeah, I think this one's more permanent. I think this one's, like, for some reason, I think you have to do this crazy ritual to actually open up a portal to one of these worlds.
What if we stole the Elder Scrolls idea and did Oblivion Gates, and people are trying to open these Oblivion Gates, and the Tieflings are trying to stop the people from opening these Oblivion Gates, but people think that the Tieflings are doing it because they look like devils.
I feel like the Portal Knights... No, I feel like the Portal Knights and all that it's too close to our last world.
Yeah.
So
I kind of want to go away from portals in general, to be honest.
Well, that's why I kind of want to make it a permanent... Okay, then how do you think... Do you think there's literally just... what is... Okay. Then are the
There's a part of
demons
me
and
that wants
devils
to do, they're building something huge to get to the material plane,
and it's not a portal.
and the Tieflings are like sabotaging it and trying to stop it from happening.
Okay, and are they on the what is okay?
I don't know.
Okay. I think I have it though. I think there's a part of the world where there's like a giant wall, and this giant wall literally separates the kind of like the Ashen Lands, and the Ashen Lands are where these demons and devils live, and they're trying to break through the wall to get up to where. It's not really like that, but
Attack on Titan.
I know. I know. I understood what you're making a reference to. But no, I think they're trying to break this wall to get up to where the people are.
And the Tieflings are like defending the wall.
Yeah, and the Tieflings are like sending people down there to do, as you said, like sabotage, do these other like slow them down however they can.
Into these.
And I think exposure to that kind of the Ashen Lands is what gives you horns and all these things. And so after generations and generations of this like militaristic sending people down, doing these missions in the Ashen Lands, like everybody in the majority of them in the group are demonic tainted in some way. And so maybe Tieflings in our world aren't just like, aren't all blue, red, like maybe they are like, they can be anything from full on Tieflings to just a human with horns, or
human colored.
Just like small demonic transformations. It just depends how active your lineage has been in the war on the Ashen Lands.
Okay, how big is this wall then? That's the
huge
question. This wall would probably be pretty huge.
Great Wall of not Big Wall of China. That's
the Big Wall of China.
The Big Wall of China. You know that one. No, the Great Wall of China. It's the Great Wall of China. That I was thinking half that size probably.
How? Okay, what would stop?
It's magical.
Demons and devils from just
it's magical.
Going.
It's 100% magical.
Okay, now this might be a weird. Okay, oh wait. I have another idea.
Okay.
What if along these lines, what if we did like a reverse fortress? Does that make any sense at all?
Okay, I was thinking a circular wall. It could have been like a circular wall, like blocking in whatever the Ashen Lands is, however big it is. It's like blocking it in. So the wall is blocking in a huge area. Yeah.
Yeah, it like blocks it in. I think in like the center, there's like a literal pit to like hell, and these demon spawn like climb out and charge out to the walls, and so they're trying to. I like it to be so big that it's not just like demons run out and then do things. I like it to be. No. I want it to be so I guess it is the full Great Wall of China size or bigger, and it holds in this area, and in the area there are demon camps and devil camps and things, but there is like this pit to hell, but it's like in the middle of this huge area. So they would come out, go to these like front war zones or whatever, and that's where they would like work on this stuff. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay,
I was thinking like a really big area.
Because from just like the demons running out of a pit, it made me more think of like smaller walls, like World War Z, where they would just like crawl on top of each other to get up above the walls.
I like that idea too, to be honest. But I was thinking more along the lines of like in the center, there's like a really, they have to come from somewhere. So like a pit to hell or whatever, I love the idea of a pit to hell, and they like crawl out and climb out and. Like orc spawning pit, but for demon and devils.
Yeah.
And they have like camps and outposts and siege equipment and stuff that they're trying to break this wall up.
See, maybe that's what it is.
To get out.
Maybe it's not like a pit like to hell. Pit? Maybe it's just a spawning pit. It's where they do whatever dark magic they need to create more demons and devils.
That would be why people who are there begin to exhibit those features, because they're using this like dark magic.
Yeah, and it kind of taints the Ashen Lands.
And it affects people who are there defending it.
Yeah.
And that's how Tiefling culture kind of got started, is they were the original defenders of this land.
Yeah.
And then they started getting, like, essentially not tainted, but affected by this magic.
Yeah.
And then it, like, became genetic. So when they have babies, they also have horns and things because they're close to the spawning pits.
Yep. Yeah.
I like that, actually. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it is an interesting way.
However, I still really like the idea of World War Z style. Pit opens up and all these demons come running out and attack the walls. I like that idea. Maybe that's something they can do.
Maybe that's what they're working up to. Maybe they're trying to get enough
that sounds, and everybody has to go gather around one side of the wall as like this pit opens up, and like demons and devils come spewing out trying to get over the walls.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to build up the amount of militaristic force to be able to do that, but I don't think they're there yet. Maybe that's what they're building up to. They just want to build their numbers so that they can get there and do that. And I think that'll probably be something that the party, like, most likely you would try to bring the party to.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, it could just be fun lore stuff.
Oh, no, it could be fun lore stuff, but I think it would be really cool just to have them, like, see this just horde of devils and demons, like, piling on top of each other. They kill some.
I love that.
And it just creates
that aesthetic so much.
It just creates a higher pile that the more demons and devils are crawling upon. And like maybe it's a high enough adventure that they are like able to just throw a bunch of fireballs down. They're just killing a bunch of them, and they're just using the bodies. It's just horrifying. And
I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite aesthetics.
Yeah, I know you love your dead demon piles. Yeah,
I like flesh mounds. You know, what can I say?
What can you say?
I like all the different flesh mounds. So then,
yeah.
What is Tiefling culture then, and what does society think of Tiefling culture?
Well, so it sounds like Tiefling culture is all about this, like, military and defending the wall. But I think the world around them sees them as
creating something within this wall.
No, I think they are. They see them as good people who got, like, obsessed with something. So, like, they're like, oh, you had good intentions originally, but now you're these monsters. And, like, even though it's not true, like, that's just what society believes. And maybe they even maybe even like the people who were in this society.
I had another cool
kind
idea.
of became ashamed of how they looked because they began to look more like their enemies, and they hated that. And so maybe, like, there's this inbuilt belief in their culture of, like, being ashamed of how they look. And so there's kind of this own, like, shame that is taught down the generations, which is horrible. Absolutely horrible, just to teach your relatives of hating how all of them appear. And so
I also like
they
the
kind
idea
of became this hidden culture where they didn't want to be seen by the outer world because of their taint.
I like the idea of, like, some groups of people are, like, because Tieflings are essentially, like, attempting to exterminate devils and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like, prevent them from, like, people start to think, like, well, maybe Tieflings might, because of how they look, they might turn and try to exterminate us. Because I see that as a very reasonable thing that people would think as well. Start to think, like, they've honed their craft at destroying and killing and fighting and being militaristic, that, you know, who knows when the devil's minds are going to break and they're going to come after us next.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's you've become too close to your enemies type thing, where they're like, oh,
right.
the tank could take them over or whatever. It's not going to. It's not actually how it works, but they fear that it could. That what generation is it that will be fully demons?
Yeah, I mean, you could easily turn this into, like, a group in humanity tries to rise up and literally kill the Tieflings, because, I mean, you could get people super paranoid with this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, when's the how long are we gonna wait until they're, what generation is it gonna be till when they attack us and they
till when they can
exterminate us
no
from
longer
these lands?
control their demonic urges, and like they don't have demonic urges.
Yeah,
they don't.
that's super
They just
dangerous.
it's purely appearance. But people just get in their heads so much about like fear that it just breeds more fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then you preach end times to them over and over again, like any generation now, any day, any year it could happen. We need to be prepared. We need to take the
prepare
initiative.
for the
We need to be the ones who
take the fight to them.
You
Yeah,
could get,
that would be
you
good.
could get a whole entire huge disaster going on, and then like if that even happened, and then the demons broke through the wall, you'd like it'd be so bad.
Yeah, that's definitely how I see it
Which
going.
that could happen.
That's definitely how I
That
see
might
it
be a
going
fun
of
historical
them
thing.
trying to take out the tieflings only for the walls to then break.
Yeah, because they like attacked. They attacked from the side that you can't defend on as well from, against the wall, and they killed a ton of tieflings, and the demons took advantage of, or the devils took advantage of it, and they broke down the wall and spewed into humanity.
I do kind of like
And
that.
Maybe. Okay, keep going.
I do kind of like those ideas. So, like in Matt Colville's world, about how like Dragonborn have like this like history of being these dragon knights who were created as these royal like people of justice, and so like many people in the world see them still as these beacons of justice, even though like they're wanted. And so I love that kind of idea of like your lineage has such a reputation that it follows you as one of that group. And so I like the idea of like it might like we might do this all happen hundreds of years ago, and so any tiefling players will have like this, like there are people who will respect them in the world, like we did wrong by your people and had like this huge horrible demon massacre, or other people who are still like it was your fault, like blame them for it, even though it was clearly not the tiefling's fault.
Yeah, so what I was going to say, which is pretty much exactly what you were going with, what if we had this event in the past and like the wall is partially broken, and now they've made like a new section of wall to like encompass the new area that was like to like essentially patch the old wall, and the remnants are still there, but there was still that betrayal a long time ago in history. And then there's, like you said, the two sides. One side blames the tieflings, and then the other side, like believes the tieflings were in the right and that we wronged them.
Yeah.
And so there's like still this kind of scar that remains, and there's still people who believe again that tieflings are gonna succumb to their demonic urges and kill us all. And so there's that scar on the wall.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Wow, I mean that turned into a whole thing.
It did, and I really like it. Okay, so these tieflings.
Now the question is another question, and this is a little bit less related to the culture of the tieflings, but where would this be in relation to like the plateau and stuff?
Well, so the plateau's in the middle. I was seeing this to the south of the continent that we're on. So in the southern side of the continent, that's where this is going on. And then the middle of the continent is where there is this plateau, and above it is where there's a lot of like civilization, like more civilization.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's highly industrialized.
I was just wondering where you thought it might be, because
I was thinking highly industrialized north, and it kind of becomes less industrialized as you go down south. Maybe because of like things aren't growing as well closer to the equator in this world, and so the people up north are just like really well set up to begin specialization, because they just make so much food.
What if we did
easily begin specializing?
What if we did the closer in proximity you are to the God Crash, the better things like grow and stuff, because there's still residual power.
Interesting.
And so the further south you go, the less.
Yeah, and the further north you go, because it's in the middle. I think that's interesting. I like that. I kind of like that. There's, like you want to be close, but there's also this like that kind of.
You also don't want to be.
Yeah, you also want to be far away. I like that.
Yeah.
Do these dream monsters that we made last week, do they occasionally escape?
I'd imagine. Maybe.
And so that's why you don't want to be close?
I didn't really think about that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about that. It might be, I mean, I definitely could see like a warlock patron if something like that were to happen.
Okay. But one thing I do want to know, the Tieflings in the south, the area that they used to protect, are they still there? Has it now become more of a mixture of other races and Tieflings? Like, how is that all
Honestly,
working?
I like it still just Tieflings.
Okay, well, so it could be all the people who went there became Tieflings as well.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So I was thinking,
that's what I'm wondering. Do you think it is like a mixture of the people who messed up and killed the Tieflings and are like, oh no, we screwed up, and they became guardians on the wall, or
Yep.
and
that's what I was thinking.
and Tieflings who still remember, and so maybe there's like this weird, like, I don't know if it'd be animosity or just like weird tension.
Nah, man, you have a whole political problem there. Where
weird tension where some of the people are
Tiefling.
Some of these are original Tieflings, and other thems are the people who tried to murder them, and so it's the families of those people, and there's this kind of weird like.
Well, now I have like a whole thing in my mind where, I have a whole thing in my mind now where there's a group of those Tieflings who have turned Tiefling, and they're angry and upset that their like humanity betrayed them and turned them into these demons that they now want to let the demons out, and so they actively plot to sabotage the wall, like a small sect, and that could be a fun little side campaign.
Interesting, and maybe
that's also something super reasonable that would happen.
I always love when there's this is a thing in Attack on Titan, and I just loved the idea of it. There's like there's this thing which in Attack on Titan it's the walls, and the walls are like have protected the group of people living within them for so long and so well that there's this whole religion that kind of grew up that's based around worship of the walls as if they are a god, like, oh, praise the walls that we're safe. And like maybe there's a religious group inside these Tieflings that are like that almost believe the walls is like a god or a belief system.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean there's all sorts of things that you'd probably form out of this type of stuff. And I love it. There can be so much cool political intrigue and stuff in this type of thing, where like certain groups are angry at each other. I mean, there can be a million different things in this little like section of area that we just created.
Yeah, well, I think we're good here. I like what we've created this week.
Heck yeah.
If you listen to our podcast on any podcasting apps that are have rate and reviews, please write a review and rate us, and it really helps us get followers by showing there's people that are engaged in the show in more ways than just listening. If you are just listening, we like you too. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's much else to say this week.
I got nothing.
Thank you for your time, I guess.
But we've had a special surprise for
too long to keep saying it's special surprise. Always remember to be the sharpest barrel in the bunch. See you next time.
Bye? I think this is where I say bye.
Yeah, wow, that was a really long pause.